Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about Pallas in the seventh house in a natal chart. Now, a Pallas in astrology can be associated with how one may resolve dilemmas or issues. Now, given we're talking about the seventh house, this may be done easier through relationships, or maybe it may be done through competition. Say if you have Pallas and Sagittarius in your seventh house, this could be one that might try to resolve some issues through some kind of sports or athletic competition with somebody. You know, whoever wins, well, I'll do this. The loser does this for me, or something like that. But it could also be, it may be resolved through the help of a marriage partner and doing things maybe collaboratively, doing things where you're collaborating with somebody else on something, or maybe with the assistance of a grandmother. It might even be through legal means, and also through perhaps compromise, negotiation, or even through arbitration in some cases. So, anyway. And if it's in Taurus, it could be through persistent negotiations, as another example. Now, Pallas in astrology can also be associated with the perceived connection one may have with their dad or father. Now, we're talking about the seventh house in astrology, which of course corresponds with the zodiac sign Libra. So the perceived connection, or how you see your connection with your dad or father, may be one that could be very equitable, very fair, a lot of give and take, something where, well, one does something for one and then the other will reciprocate. But the seventh house also can be about competition. It could be a relationship that you may see could be very competitive, but one which may consist of a lot of compromise and negotiation, and one in which you follow the law, so to speak. But in some cases, if this is very strongly afflicted, it might even be adversarial, because remember, the seventh house is associated with open adversaries, open enemies. So, I mean, those are some ways that this could manifest, and it could pan out. So, anyway. Well, the next thing up is, well, as far as Pallas goes in astrology, it can be connected with legal matters. Now, this could be, given that we're talking about the seventh house, there may be a lot of number of issues where the person may become embroiled in legal matters with a significant other. It could be through some divorce. It could be with a grandmother in some cases. It can be just a number of things, just with others in general, a number of legal situations with others in general, important friendships, but also people that may be open adversaries. Say if this is like in Scorpio, this could be against people that might be in a Scorpio-like profession, such as astrologers, people in the occult, supernatural, locksmithing, or maybe people that could actually be Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or or ones that are just embody those traits, like people that could be very vindictive, vengeful, very grudge holding, resourceful, powerful, and it could also be where there may be some legal matters, maybe over some competition that maybe somebody should have won but did not win through for whatever reason, and maybe there's some legal, you might find something legal, illegal connected with it, why somebody may have won a competition over you, as an example. Now, also, too, Pallas in astrology can be associated with disputes. Now, given that we're talking about the seventh house in astrology, these disputes may be over matters pertaining to the law. It could be with arbitrators, people that it could be a grandmother in some cases. It could even be contentious issues with attorneys, and it could be with important friendships, or even a significant other, and even people that are in seventh house positions. Again, like I stated before, it could be with arbitrators, or even with artists, people that could be in something seventh house related, whether it could be somebody in that works with graphic art design, or what have you. So anyway, Well, Pallas in astrology can also be associated with the attention on concepts. Now, given that this is the seventh house, this could be a person that might have attention on concepts with people that they're in a relationship with, a significant other. Could be an important friendship, but it could simply be where people focus on certain concepts associated perhaps with the sign Pallas is in, but would like to do that collaboratively with others. It may be, like, say, if it's in Aquarius, this could be a person that might focus their attention on a lot of innovative ideas, new technology, creating new things, new concepts in general, and might be doing so with the assistance of others. But it could also be a person that, since we're talking about the seventh house, it's also associated with open adversaries. So this could be a person that focuses on concepts that are connected with open adversaries. It could be matters in how you deal with them, how open enemies come about, and looking very deeply into, especially say if you have this like in Scorpio, this could be a person that might focus on these ideas and understanding the means of dealing with open adversaries, but perhaps on a very deep level. Now, and also issues with the person might also be interested in focusing on concepts associated with the law. Now, Pallas in astrology can also be associated with debilitations that may be attributed to a diminished or depleted immune system. Now, since we're talking about the seventh house, this is where these issues may strongly impact or affect the person. Now, it could impact the person in terms of their relationships. It could be a significant other. It could be a grandmother. It could even be significant friendships, important friendships, and even competition. Now, I mean, say if this is like you have this in Sagittarius, using that example again, it might strongly impact sports competitions in some cases. It can be something where, or maybe even dealing with open enemies or open adversaries, or it might even strongly affect you if you're in a business partnership situation, because if you have debilitations, they're connected with the diminished or depleted immune system. This could affect so many different things, and it might prohibit you to some degree or diminish your ability to do what you're supposed to do if you're in a business partnership situation. Now, it could also be something also too, that Pallas in astrology can also be associated with tough choices one may have to make in connection with one's relationships that are male. Now, I don't think this necessarily means that it has to be a significant other. It could be a male significant other situation if you're in a marriage or a romantic connection you may have with a male, but it could be about males that simply play a dominant role in your life scheme. Now, given that this is the seventh house in astrology, this could be somebody that might have to make tough choices in matters pertaining to males that play a dominant role in their life. It could be through legal means. It could be, like, say, if it's in Scorpio, somebody that's digging deep, going beyond subterfuge and superficiality in terms of seeing if maybe their character, if they have, or maybe digging deep, investigating whether they have any former issues with the law, because the seventh house can be connected with legalities and legal matters, or it might be simply a person that makes these tough choices in matters pertaining to a dominant male in their life scheme through legal matters. So they don't have to, they maybe didn't want to go that route, but it may be where they find it comes down to it in a number of cases. Now, also, Pallas in astrology can be associated with the strategy one may use to traverse uncharted territory. Now, given that this is the seventh house in astrology, it can be connected with maybe going somewhere that might be tied into a decision with that the significant other figures prominently in, more so than usual. It could be doing a lot of weighing the pros and cons, because we're talking about the seventh house, which corresponds with Libra in astrology. It might be, again, weighing a lot of the pros and cons of the situation. And also, it might be one, like, say, for example, you have this in Virgo in your natal chart, and it's in the 7th house. It could be one where maybe one simply wants to find a healthy relationship, so to speak. It could be a place your strategy might be connected with a place, if you're unattached at this time and you don't have a significant other, a place where you can find relationships or even important friendships. If you're somebody that's trying to have more people in your life, as an example, and also how the law may work in that particular area, because the 7th house is connected with legalities and legal matters. And also remember that Pallas is associated with patterns. So this could be a person that might be very astute at understanding relationship patterns that are associated with the grandmother, with grandmothers, or even or maybe things that are connected with legalities and legal patterns. This could be somebody that might be, maybe somebody that could be a proficient or a student, being a legal analyst, as an example. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my take on Pallas in the 7th house in a natal chart. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about Pallas in the 8th house in a natal chart. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.